A lot of beginners are going on YouTube and finding all these crazy, advanced, weird mixing strategies that aren't really going to help them make better sounding music. So, I want to pull everything back a little bit and give you a list of priorities so that if you are a beginner and you have a home studio and you're trying to make music, focus on these things first before getting ahead of yourself. Sometimes it's just really hard to know what's actually important during the different parts of your mixing and music creation journey. So, here are 7 different priorities that I think you should focus on if you're just starting to make music. Now, as a thank you for you spending your time with me today, I have a link to download my Compression 101 ebook in the description. That's going to teach you all of the tricks to hearing and knowing how to dial in perfect compression for your music. And it's a skill that I'm going to talk about here in a second. So, as a beginner, just getting into making music, what is important? Is it the computer? Is it acoustic treatment? No, it's like none of those things. Your focus as a beginner should be learning how to capture clean audio, learning the basics of mixing and what the tools are, and finally building some strong foundational habits that you can carry on as you get better at mixing. So, with that, all you really need to get started is just getting some basic gear. And what I recommend is just a very simple interface, a pair of actually mixing headphones. And honestly, if you don't have the budget, you could probably just throw your AirPods in, and a cheap condenser mic or dynamic mic. If you can afford it, get both because they have different applications and different flavors of sound. You don't need expensive cables. That's a bunch of nonsense. I actually have a video somewhere up here that you can check out if you want to know the details about why expensive cables aren't really going to help your sound. Now, I recommend headphones over studio monitors for people that are just starting out because there's a lot of nuance to setting up your speakers the right way. And if you put headphones on, it gets the room out of the mix and allows you to focus on developing your mixing skills. Your next skill as a beginner is going to be learning how to record audio so that it's not distorted and you minimize the room noise. That can be as simple as just not recording during the day if it's really noisy outside or your neighbor's mowing their lawn or whatever. Just learn how to set your input gain so that it doesn't clip while you're recording a performance. Now that you understand the basics of gain staging and recording into your interface, the next priority you need to focus on is recording a good performance. And that's not easy to do because you have to play your instrument really, really well. I also recommend learning how to play to a click track if you can. That'll help reinforce really strong rhythm so that it's not distracting when you're listening back to your music. Now, if that's not possible or you're just not good enough at playing guitar yet, you can always learn how to comp. Comping is just the act of recording a bunch of the same takes of that part, whether it's vocals, guitars, drums, whatever, and listening to each performance and choosing the best section for that part of the song. This is going to require some basic editing where you can cut the audio and then piece it together as you go. And then that compilation of all those different edits is going to give you a performance that sounds really, really good. Make sure that you're paying attention to the timing and also the tuning of your performances. You should train your ear to know when it's getting out of tune and then to stop the recording process and retune. It might also be a good idea to invest in some ear training, and I'm sure there's a lot of resources online to help you develop your ear. Now, once you have all those things figured out, that is when you should then be focusing on mixing basics. Now, when I say basics, I mean literally the basics: stock, plugins, EQ, compression, reverb. That's about all you need to focus on. And arguably even more important than that is just understanding what a normal arrangement sounds like for the genre you're working in. So for example, if you're working in rock, you will often find guitars are hard panned left and right. If you leave everything centered, it's going to sound weird for the genre and probably not sound good. Listen to the differences between the levels of the instruments to learn what a good mix sounds like and what the music that you're creating sounds like. Once you have a list of your favorite sounding songs, build a reference library. Bring those songs into the session you're working in and listen to them in solo. That'll help recalibrate your ears into what sounds good so you can quickly make those adjustments in your mix. But at this stage, we should only be focusing on the placement, so the panning, volume, some basic tonal EQ, and then compression. And compression is not easy. I have a lot of videos that dive deep into this, but don't worry, you'll get there. Just focus on these things first. And finally, the most important thing that's going to make your music sound the best when you're a beginner just starting out is to nail your vocal and instrumental performances. We are emotional beings. We need some sort of emotional connection to the music. If there isn't that emotional delivery of that performance, the song will never sound great no matter how perfect it's mixed, anyways. So, the majority of the effort in the beginning stages is going to be songwriting and trying to make sure that there is a good performance there. If there's nothing that draws the listener into your song, it's never going to get listened to. So it's so important early on. Don't worry about all the mixing tips and tricks and all the newest plugins. Those are all distractions for where you are right now in your journey. Stick to this prioritized list. Focus on just getting a basic interface, a decent pair of headphones. Learn how to set the input level or the gain staging of your interface so that it doesn't clip when you're recording, so you can capture clean audio. All you need is one microphone to get started. I would recommend a dynamic microphone like a Shure SM57 or just a cheap under $100 condenser microphone. Condenser microphones are great for detail, but be aware it's going to pick up all the different noises in your studio. Start developing your sense of timing and rhythm, and absolutely make sure that your instruments are in tune, please. You don't need super expensive gear. Just tune your instrument frequently. Learn how to comp so you can build and piece together the best performance possible. Find a bunch of songs in your genre that you love and you think they sound great. Study how they're arranged, study the different levels, and finally keep working on your songwriting until you have an emotional connection to the listener. I think it's a great exercise to take a song and try to recreate it in your own studio. So record all the parts that you're hearing. It'll teach you how to place the different elements in the mix and also help train your ear for identifying all the things going on in those songs. And one more thing. A lot of people have the habit of just re-recording the same song over and over and over, or just mixing one song over and over and over. Don't do that. Give yourself a challenge. Force yourself to write a new song every day for 30 days. You're going to be in a way better place than trying to watch a bunch of YouTube videos on like sidechain compression or something. So let me know in the comments if I missed something that you think is super important for beginners to get right. And if there's something that you have been focusing on that you shouldn't have, let me know in the comments as well. Don't forget, I have that free book on Compression 101 in the description. Stay tuned for my next video, which is going to talk about the priorities for someone who's an intermediate recording engineer. So we'll get into the details of what you need to be focusing on to take your music to the next level. My name is Bobby Balo. I'm the mixing and mastering engineer at Rayton Productions, and I'll see you in the next video.